You have 47 browser tabs open, 3 note-taking apps, and a 5-year plan you've revised every month. Everyone told you that your intelligence was your greatest asset, your golden ticket to a brilliant future. You were the gifted child, the one teachers pulled aside to praise, the one for whom learning was effortless. But today, you are watching people who aren't nearly as smart as you achieve the success that should be yours. They are running growing businesses while you are still researching the perfect business model in your room. They are closing real deals while you are still crafting the perfect bulletproof email that you'll never send. Your intelligence hasn't been your engine. It has become a sophisticated prison you built for yourself. Every brilliant analysis you made was actually a brick that prevented you from taking a single real action. Today, we decode the intelligence trap and why your high IQ is currently the biggest obstacle to your winning. We aren't going to just talk about hustle, we're going to look at the architecture of a paralyzed mind. Meet Eli. He is a genius at solving complex problems in his head, but he's been starting for 3 years. In the time Eli spent optimizing his workflow, someone else built a product, sold it, and retired. This is Chapter 1, the overthinking trap, where smart people go to watch their biggest dreams slowly die. Your brain sees a simple task, like starting a blog, but it refuses to let it stay simple for long. A normal person picks a platform in 5 minutes and publishes their first messy post by the afternoon. But your brain demands a comparison of 15 platforms, 47 reviews, and a deep dive into SEO. 6 months later, you're a world-class expert on the theory of blogging, but you haven't written a word. You aren't researching, you are hiding behind the illusion of productivity because you are afraid to begin. Overthinking feels like high-intensity work, but it is actually just revving your engine while in neutral. You know you're stuck, but you can't stop because stopping the thinking would mean starting the risking. Now we enter Chapter 2, the perfection prison. The most expensive mental architecture in the world, perfect has killed more dreams than failure ever could, yet you treat it like a badge of high honor. Perfectionism isn't about high standards. It is a sophisticated mask that fear wears to avoid being judged. You have projects sitting at 90% completion, gathering digital dust because they aren't quite ready. That book, that course, that business, you tell yourself you're maintaining quality, but you're actually terrified. You fear that if your work isn't flawless, people will realize you aren't as smart as everyone promised you were. Here is the truth that will set you free. Done is the only thing that opens doors and pays the bills. While you are busy polishing the handle, someone else is already walking through the room and profiting. Chapter 3, Why IQ is a multiplier, not a foundation, and why it only predicts a fraction of success. After an IQ of 120, your intelligence only accounts for about 23% of your actual life outcomes. That means 77% of your success has nothing to do with your test scores or your degrees. What predicts success by nearly double that amount is emotional intelligence, the soft skills you likely ignore. Schools rewarded you for knowing the right answers alone, not for working well with the messy human element. You can solve complex equations, but you can't calculate how to ask for help when you're drowning. You can debug thousands of lines of code, but you can't debug a tense or difficult social conversation. Your IQ is writing checks that your EQ cannot cash, and that is why less smart people are passing you by. They aren't more brilliant than you, they are simply better at playing the game that actually matters. This leads us to Chapter 4, the knowledge curse. The more you know, the harder it is to move. You are like a chef who knows so many recipes that he eventually starves because he cannot choose what to cook. When you know less, Decisions are simple. You have something to sell, so you tell people and you sell it. But when you are smart, you see every possible outcome, every potential failure, and every tiny optimization. Your intelligence turns a simple choice into a doctoral dissertation, and you end up making no choice at all. You are paralyzed by the branching paths of possibility that your high-speed brain creates in seconds. Ignorance was bliss because ignorance takes action, while your intelligence only takes more detailed notes. You aren't drowning because you can't swim. You're drowning because you're analyzing the water's density. To survive, you must learn to forget what you know and remember how to simply put one foot in front of the other. Chapter 5. The execution equation performance equals talent times effort, but effort is squared. This is the math that explains why you are losing to people you could outsmart in your sleep every night. Effort counts twice as much as talent because it is the exponential factor that drives the entire system. But gifted people often have Ferrari engines paired with tricycle work ethics because things were always easy. You never had to develop the effort muscle in school, so you never learned how to truly grind or push. You can quote every productivity guru on the planet, but you cannot produce actual work for 10 minutes straight. Consistent average effort beats sporadic genius bursts of inspiration every single time without exception. The person who shows up every day will eventually destroy the genius who only shows up once a month. Potential without effort equals zero. That is the only mathematical certainty you need to remember. Now, Chapter 6. Breaking the fixed mindset. The strange irony of being too smart to learn. The smarter you are, the more likely you are to treat your intelligence as your entire identity and brand. When something becomes hard, you quit not because you can't do it, but because struggling feels like failing. If you struggle, it might mean you aren't a genius anymore, and that thought is terrifying to your ego. You would rather preserve the fantasy of unlimited potential than risk discovering your actual human limits. You stay in your comfort zone where you can maintain the illusion that you could do anything if you tried. But real growth requires looking stupid, being a total beginner, and asking the dumb questions you dread. Your intelligence was meant to be a starting point, not a static destination you spend your life protecting. Chapter 7. The Social Intelligence Gap. The tragedy of solving everyone's problems but your own. Success is a team sport, yet you've likely been playing a solo game because small talk feels beneath you. You think networking is for people who aren't smart enough to win on their own merit, but you're wrong. While you debate philosophy, others are building the trust and connections that actually move projects forward. They aren't having inferior conversations, they are building the superior relationships that lead to deals. You've been so busy being the smartest person in the room that you forgot to actually connect with anyone in it. Your brilliance means nothing if no one wants to work with you or help you execute your grand ideas. Chapter 8. Building your success system, making action the default path for your overactive brain. You don't need another app or a more complex framework. You need to make doing easier than thinking. If you want to write, don't research writing. Simply open a blank document and type one single sentence. Your brain will scream that this is too simple, that you need a strategy, but that is just your ego sabotaging you. Complexity is the enemy of execution, and for a smart person, complexity is the most dangerous addiction. Finally, Chapter 9. The 30-day transformation, turning your big brain into a tool for your actual life. For the next 30 days, you are going to run an experiment. You must start before you feel ready. Pick one single thing, not three, and give yourself permission to do it badly every single day for a month. Document the process to prove to your brain that movement creates the clarity that thinking never could. I'm Leo, and the question is, are you smart enough to finally stop being so smart and start winning?